if you have a massive platform, if you have 142,000 followers on social media, like I do, you have the ability to be able to put things out there on a much more magnified scale. So if I put something out there, like you should normalize having thousands of people telling you your take is and then trying to like either learn or take feedback or stuff like that in good faith. In the good faith ones, by the way. Like this all is a world of lies. It's a world of lies and deceit and garbage. And when corrected on the lies, the Quartering and his ilk don't change course. The Matt Walshes of the world, they won't take to facts. They don't care. It's all feelings. This whole thing is about them and their confusions and fears and bigotry therein, you know? This person I don't really see anymore. Relic of the old edgelord kind of, you know, avatar right-wing crew that no one knows about anymore. Totally died off. Like, this video only has 515 views with 107,000 subscribers. That's not even a fall off. That's like, it's been burnt into dust. I think I might be giving you more viewers just right now. There's 400. Okay, I'm almost at as many viewers as this video has. Just watching me live right now. Oh no. I'm expanding it. Andrew Tate's appeal rejected? Yes. Amazing. Remaining in court upheld a second 30-day arrest of the divisive influencer and former professional kickboxer Andrew Tate, who is detained on suspicion of organized crime and human trafficking, an official said. All right. Nice.
You watch the video, you go, oh, how cute and how nice. I watched the video and I'm filled with rage.
What's wrong with you?
That we shut off access to a 10-minute procedure because we paywalled it and decided that like some people just simply can't get it. It is so insanely frustrating that it like...
You're literally mad that we don't live under communism or socialism, where people have actual freedom in this country and they get to choose what their labor's worth. And
okay, now I know why. That's about all I can take. I'll be honest with you. Okay, like this sounds like someone who's crushed a couple tallies and is just grabbing the mic and then is just ranting on the topic. Yeah, good thing that we fucking have freedom in America. Unlike communism, fucking where 200 billion people died. Good thing we don't live under Stalin. Fucking we have to. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me of the old internet. Let's move on to the Quarterings take. why is he drooling?
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having
Hi,
an
Jeremy.
absolutely wonderful day. I'll be live streaming today about 5:30. I would absolutely love to see you there. We'll talk a little bit about how the internet continues to embarrass itself over this MrBeast scenario. Many multi-millionaire far left-leaning content creators, in particular on Twitch. I haven't seen any hot takes from leftists on YouTube. There aren't that many, but many of them languishing about MrBeast daring to do charity. In fact, if you watch very closely, you'll see multi-millionaire Hassan Piker slowly learning that he too could help some people with his many millions. This is a guy that makes more than $250,000 a month by most estimates. He could certainly dole out a couple dozen eye surgeries if he so was inclined, but instead he streamed for 20 hours whining about it. And most of the backlash from regular people, thankfully, is being quelled, is being shut down. You see a lot of MrBeast's latest internet charity draws criticism of the American healthcare system. Look, I think that that's a fair critique. I don't think there's really anybody on the planet who's like, yeah, the American healthcare system is pretty neat. It's very expensive. If you've ever had to use it, it's complicated. Literally every procedure is set up to every insurance company is.
It's pretty neat.
God, those communists are amazing.
It's neat. Neat's a neat way to describe it, by the way, because you know it kind of feels like it's a disaster. This is more akin to what I would kind of describe it as.
Set up to not pay for anything that you know, everything they do from, you know, I had a recent situation where the hospital was sending me bills and then they were also sending bills to the insurance company. People get confused by that. And it's like, well, wait, I thought my insurance company was paying this. They're trying to double dip me, you know, like maybe they would have refunded it, but I don't know. It's extremely confusing for like a short visit for, you know, well, I had a bout of, I guess I can tell you guys because we're all friends, but like, you know, like gigantism in my briefs, you know, and so like I had to go to the hospital because it was hard to walk and I was leaning to one side, but it was very expensive for me, and it was like, what the heck?
Jesus, this is so painful.
You see a lot of these articles like Hassan Piker, like people are dunking on Hassan. I don't get it. You see Lilith, shout out to Lilith, love it. Twitter, when a rich YouTuber actually uses his money for good and changes people's lives immeasurably.
Oh, shit. Man, this, yeah. So for, I think it was Lycan. He's one of like Destiny's kids. Oh, one sec.
Last Dono had a link to a legendary tweet.
I will check that link out. Thank you once again. DGG, yeah, Destiny in Lycan was one of Destiny's like reply guys, and was going off about how I'm only making this tweet to farm engagement or for the clicks and stuff like that. And I was like, do you not realize this is not a popular take? I seem to have pissed off a lot of the internet. So has anyone daring to speak up about this, of being anything other than we should just be fawning for MrBeast in complete and total adoration of the glory of what he has done. Again, what have you done, motherfucker? Like, there was so many. I was getting just piles of those. What have you done, motherfucker? Fuck, dude. What have you done? How many people have you cured? Fun note. When shit was going real intense, I was telling this story to my partner, and she reminded me of something funny, and she said I could tell this story. She had, I believe, -9 eyesight when we were first meeting, and I paid for her LASIK surgery because she couldn't afford it at the time, and she's had perfect vision there. So I think I get a half. I think that counts as one half, not a full one. That counts as one half. So I have almost cured someone who had legal blindness by a half. Well, not legal blindness, but close. It was like she needed glasses or contacts all the time, like all the time, or she like would have a lot of difficulty seeing. So I think that counts for half. A full? No, I think I get the full one. Okay, hold on. We need the scoreboard to figure this out, because how many times did Jesus heal the blind? Jesus healed quite a few blind people. We are shown 8 specific people who were given their gift of sight, and we have 2 more instances where we aren't told how many people Jesus restored sight to. Following this is a list of 8 who were healed. Jesus gave 2 to blind men. Jesus gave a blind man in Bethsaida by spitting on his eyes. Jesus gave sight to a man who was demon-possessed and blind and mute. Jesus gave a blind man while going to Jericho. Jesus gave sight to 2 blind men while leaving Jericho. One was named Bartimaeus. Jesus gave sight to a blind man by putting clay on his eyes, then having him wash off in the pool of Siloam. Note, some believe 4 and 5 referred to the same event. Ooh, tricky. Maybe we'll give them 1.5 for that then. For 4 and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, 6. What's fascinating, I don't notice before, the number of men performing healing miracles in the Bible. Only Jesus healed the blind. This certainly has some significance. I believe it is a parallel to the fact that only Jesus can turn darkness into light from a spiritual standpoint. That would actually make sense. So it's basically me half, Jesus 6, and then MrBeast 1000. So it's true. That point is true. And guess what? I have to keep saying this. I am not against charity. I'm not against people doing charity. I'm not against the fact that 1,000 people have sight now. That's a wondrous, beautiful thing. But we should focus the conversation, as a lot of people are properly doing, on what is going on here. Hassan was completely right there when he's like, this is infuriating to me because we're keeping a 10-minute procedure that can give people the gift of sight behind a paywall. And when people like the Quartering and all these other people love to bring up, well, what the fuck do you do though? Because you're also a content creator, Lance. You have a show. You got 500 people. Pretty good live audience. You know, you're one of the larger creators in the political sphere.
MrBeast is Mark Cohen from Rent with a Trust Fund. Same exploitation of the needy for personal gain. Same cluelessness about why that is bad.
Thank you. I totally agree, Balthazar Tin. Yes, that's one of the problems. Look, if you go across the board, okay. Well, first, to people who say that, I agree. I think it's a good thing when content creators do stuff with their platforms and try to live by their values that they also talk about on the show. Because a lot of people, yes, are absolute hypocrites and grifters. Everyone is a hypocrite, by the way, just in general. Everyone is, to a certain extent. I'm against climate change. I drive a car. It's not, you try to do your best, right? Like everyone within your own realm, you try to, it's like everything else, you know that the chocolate's bad for you, but every now and then you want to have one little cube because come on, I want to also enjoy that chocolate, and in the scheme of things, this one moment is not going to definitely change the course of history. Like, I think it would be weird if I had to start shows of being like, I raised over $40,000 for the Indigenous Residential School Survivor Society. I raised thousands of dollars for Palestinian causes. I've worked on charity streams that have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, in which I've volunteered a huge amount of time. I have donated thousands of my own dollars to political campaigns for local politicians whom I believe in and I want to help, as well as Indigenous activists and politicians and political causes. I've also fundraised for them. I've also volunteered for a whole bunch of political campaigns. I've volunteered for multiple federal, provincial, and local elections because, yes, I believe in fighting for putting in lefties into positions of power where I live. And I advocate for other people to do the same. I do phone banking, canvassing, that kind of stuff. Yes, I try to help organize local organizations. All of that doesn't change the systems themselves unless we're going to work towards that. Raising $40,000, over $40,000, sorry, for the Residential School Survivor Society, that's such a wondrous, beautiful thing that a whole bunch of people, I'm saying this not to self-fillet or whatever, that a whole bunch of people, that was only possible because a lot of us banded together and used the resources we had to try and put money towards a cause that we felt really important about. And those are wondrous, beautiful moments. That in and of itself doesn't solve racism. And I shouldn't be celebrated for trying to solve racism or something like that in the process of doing that. And the thing with MrBeast is that there's a lot of content he's done that is gross, that is just objectively exploitative, that is making people do things they wouldn't want to do for money. That's the plot. That's the whole story. That's the whole gimmick for the TV show. I've got an idea for a TV show. What is it? It's like a game show. Okay, you do things you normally wouldn't do, but now you're doing them for cash. Oh. But, I mean, the people are consenting to being on the show. After all, they're getting all the cash. They're consenting, all right. So this person's going to live in solitary confinement. Well, increasing solitary confinement. It's going to start out kind of just like you have to stay in this room with all these cool toys, and then I'm going to take all the toys away, and then they're going to be in actual solitary confinement. If that's not cool enough, I'm going to get their fiancé to come onto the show, and then their fiancé is going to cry with them, and they're going to talk about how much they love them. Because, I mean, if you were in solitary confinement, you would really miss the people you love. That would make you very sad. It's a form of psychological torture. I'm going to do psychological torture for the lulz, and then it's going to be for all this fucking cash. It's going to be awesome. Look at this. He got $10,000. At the end of this, look how happy he is. The sweet, delicious, juicy tears. This is amazing. He lived in solitary confinement for this period of time. Wow. And again, it's a good thing that dude who was in solitary confinement got tens of thousands of dollars that he can use towards either his wedding or college or school or anything. Doesn't matter. That's awesome. It's amazing that thousands of people can see. That's fucking so beautiful and wonderful. I'm very happy that those things have happened. I don't have to ignore the rest of MrBeast in a totality because of this thing. Like, people do that all the time. You realize this is the whole point of rainbow washing and greenwashing, and MrBeast both does greenwashing, actual literal greenwashing, advertising campaigns by massive corporations that are trying to distract you from the actual pollution they cause. Yes, that MrBeast, he does that, and also he gets to wash his own image. The MrBeast image is like, anyone who criticizes this guy is seen as a monster. And why the fuck? How inhumane are you that you don't want people who are blind to see?
There was actually somebody on
Beast
my video
watching.
yesterday
Yes,
who commented,
new term,
who was either a parent or an aunt or something, who ended up getting the surgery. Their kid got the surgery, and they were like, this is, I don't know why people are upset. This is crazy. Thanks for covering this. You see a lot of, the internet turning on him, like, Both Mr. Beast and Hassan are rich, but Mr. Beast at least uses his money to help people. Even if it's for content, he still helps.
Same thing with Hassan, by the way. He uses his money in a lot of different ways. He's done altruism. You can always criticize a content creator, sure, for not rising to the level that you think that they should and or do, or point out like things. I think with Hassan, by the way, a lot of people just have their brains broken that he's like incredibly successful, and he's like not successful in the ways that they are. It's like it's the actual, like, he doesn't need to have a complete corporate sponsored show to survive. He just has thousands and thousands of people pay him money, and he spent that money on a house that his family lives in, like his whole family. But yeah, big house bad, I guess. Big house, no socialism.
What the F does Hassan do with his money? Well, put it in the bank. You know, and you know, ultimately, I found like it was extremely.
Yep, thought so. Not an issue in Canada because I do the surgery for free. Oh, of course. Cataract and lens exchange surgeries. Lens exchange surgeries are insured under OHIP. OHIP coverage includes the lens the patient's physician determines is medically necessary for the individual patient at the time of the surgery. An insured person is entitled to receive these services and charge without the type of facility or setting the services are provided. No amount may be charged to the patient for the medically necessary lens or eye tests or for other necessary add-ons to the insured services, such as premises, equipment, supplies, or personnel that require to provide the service. Here's what I want to advocate for you, America. You. I want you to have this. I want you to unlock this. I want to fight for Americans. This doesn't directly impact me because I'm not an American. I don't have to be at the whims of the American insurance corporations and companies. But I think America as a country would work a lot better if people had more access to healthcare. The more Americans who have access to healthcare, the happier and healthier they can be, the less stressed they'll be in life, and the less scary they will all be as well, because America has a lot of guns and can be very angry. So it'd be really, really cool if America had a whole bunch of healthcare. America is the world's biggest like military arms dealer and producer. It'd be great if everyone was like a little more chill and calm, because you know they're all healthy and happy, and a lot of their needs are met, and they don't have to worry about that struggle. And you see, the problem with that struggle is that struggle usually has a lot of people blaming the causes of the struggle on things that are not directly related to it, so that you get distracted by that. And while you're distracted by that, well, you're not going to have a lot of time to go after the things that are actually causing the problems. You're going to go after imaginary things. You're going to go after trans people. You're going to go after the gay agenda, after the immigrants. You're going to go after all these kind of things, rather than looking at the people causing these problems. But I want this to be in America. Yes. Then everyone would have access to the surgery.
Sad that Mr. Beast had to defend himself. You saw, you know, Twitter. Rich people should help others with their money. Me, okay, I'll use my money to help people and promise to give all my money away before I die. Every single penny. Twitter, Mr. Beast bad. He's 100% right. Now, he uses his videos, obviously, as marketing, right? But he replies to, like, again, one of the most disingenuous brainlets on the internet, the Serfs. After, by the way, getting completely destroyed, they deleted.
True. Well, okay, well, that part's not true. Not deleting his ratio. The ratio was going on for hours, dog. That was going on all day. And I was watching my stream live while the ratio happened. And I was like, damn, I got ratioed by the beast. Beasted, I think, was the term that we coined at the time. So, yeah, no. It was not the ratio that destroyed my brain. And I was like, oh my god, I'm getting ratioed by Mr. Beast. It was definitely a lot more influential to watch the Humanist Report's videos shortly afterwards, where he lays the whole thing out. And I think TYT took the exact same stance. They're kind of taking the very normie stance of, hey, objectively, if people are going to watch, or if the discussion around this right now is focused on the fact that it's really fucked up that people don't have healthcare. In fact, you know, Lance was wrong. Mr. Beast did mention that. And so that's why I took the L. And that's why I deleted the tweet, because that is correct. I'm factually incorrect by saying that Mr. Beast did not mention it in his video. He didn't mention specifically that we should have healthcare and Medicare for all. He didn't say that we should unlock a public healthcare system, or that we should fight towards this, or bring attention to that, or be like, hey, it's really messed up. Why don't we, you know, do this and use his activism for that. He did say that it is a super messed up thing, that he's having to pay for this kind of stuff out of pocket when it seems to be such a quick thing that can be done, but it's you know, it's something that people can afford and have to pay for. This again, it's more important, and I agree with the take that it's more important that people are talking about potentially getting Medicare for all. That is the reason for the delete. That is the reason. Like I know to people who hate me and hate watch me or hate my content, there's nothing I can say to convince you, because you hate me as a person. You've in the same way that people like form parasocial relationships, you have and like, you know, can love creators, you hate me. Like you have a parasocial relationship where the version of me that I don't think I am, obviously everyone who's hated, I'm sure the same thing applies to the Quartering or anyone else that I hate. You know, I'm sure the same thing applies to like Destiny, for example. His version of himself that he sees is different than the version that I either put out there or see myself, right? That's the reality. That's the human condition. This is part of being a human on planet Earth, all that kind of stuff. So there's nothing I can say that will convince those people. But yes, that is the reason. That is like, and this is not me trying to virtue signal or flex. It's me straight up saying like, I don't think I should, like, the reason there's no apology is I'm not going to apologize to MrBeast. I think in general, in net, what he does is disgusting, and he doesn't acknowledge it. This is him, again, not acknowledging it. This is him being like, oh, acting as if this entire thing is a charity. The average MrBeast video lost $1.5 million last year, lol. That could be true. That could be 100% true. But that would be a business expense. That would be a cost, because you have a company. And so if one channel's video loses money intentionally because you spend all this money giving the money away to people, or just the costs, the upfront costs are too much, you have multiple other channels where you can bring in ad revenue. And you also have a whole bunch of other stuff. You're an empire. You have a fast food licensed franchise. You have a clothing line. You have a chocolate line. Like, MrBeast is massive. He is a fucking institution. He is not a charity. Like, in and of itself, it's not the MrBeast the non-profit experience adventure that you're going down, right? And all that being said, again, it is good. It is good if a person who is as huge and powerful as MrBeast spends money on giving people eyesight with that money. This is good. It is good that people are now talking about how it's fucked up that this is behind a payroll. That does not erase the other shit that MrBeast is doing. Working in large part to actively promote an advertising campaign for a bunch of plastic companies. Like, if there's an organization, a nonprofit organization that gets a lot of funding from a whole bunch of different companies, let's say Coca-Cola, the largest plastic polluter in the world. If this organization is in charge of cleaning plastic out of the ocean by taking in vast amounts of plastic via a machine that actually collects it, when that doesn't actually do anything to eliminate the problem of plastic in the ocean, because it turns out we dump so much plastic in the ocean that plastic breaks down. There isn't a machine that can break out microplastics once they've, you know, been separated into small and small pieces, and the amount that we keep putting into the ocean far exceeds our ability to take it out. So this is literally a drop in the ocean. This is greenwashing. It's a greenwashing campaign. It's an entire thing that is designed and done in order to distract people and allow companies that do and produce vast amounts of plastic waste to continue to do that, rather than have to change course to something that is more environmentally conscious but more expensive to their bottom line. That's what's happening there. And that's like, that part of the story is very, very crucial and important, because the charity side of things, which again is good, giving people eyesight is fucking amazing, that side of things gets masked, gets ignored, not talked about, not even thought of. I say this because guess what? I believed it. When I saw that project, the clean up the beach thing, again, I was like, this is a good thing. Net benefit to society. If you're going to take a whole bunch of plastic out of the ocean, 1 pound of plastic for every dollars, and if they raise millions of dollars, that's millions of pounds of plastic. This is such a good thing. Like, I'm not going to shit on MrBeast for this, and all the other creators right now who are joining MrBeast on this, other content creators who are also doing their own campaign financing for this. None of us were listening to actual scientists on the matter, though, who were sounding the alarm on this campaign, being like, this entire thing is one, funded very immensely by a lot of plastic contributors to take away from the fact that it's going to actually have a net negative effect if people think, and they are distracted by thinking, that this is somehow solving a problem, when ultimately it is not in any way, shape, or form, but it's making us all feel good. We're all feeling really, really good from this process, because now we've been like, oh, look at that. Look at the thing. We took all this plastic out of the ocean. We've raised money. Like, fuck, I think I might have even donated to it. That's how far into the belief of this I and a lot of other people were. once you realize what is actually taking place, especially if you have advocacy along the lines of, well, yes, I do think that this is ultimately a problem that we need to address. It may be more expensive for us to start moving away from single-use plastics in general for everything, plastic bags, plastic bottles, plastic this, because it's so cheap and easy for us to manufacture them, but they're destroying parts of the planet, parts of the ecosystem. So we can acknowledge this. So it may be more expensive to go down other roads, to move into using bottles and paper bags and things like that. That could be more expensive. They have their own problems as well. Like, you know, sustainability is a very, very difficult thing to achieve. Let's just say that. But like, again, I get it. I totally understand. It sucks because, like, until someone like understands that side of the entire thing, you were going to be captivated by the good things that he does. Like, I'm a very emotional person. Like I can wear my heart on my sleeve. I when I feel sad, I cry. When I feel happy, like, you know it because it's on my face. I'm not a good liar for those reasons, you know, because like I'm way too animated. Let's just say my poker face is kind of just like when I see that I've got like a really good card. Like I understand. I get it. I fully totally know why people either are furious or completely upset.
The tweet. Are you shocked? Are you shocked? He replied and said, it did raise awareness and it got tons of people talking. Also, what profits? The average MrBeast video lost $1.5 million last year. To which they reply, you're completely correct. It got people talking. I will take the L.
Whoa. So I haven't looked at this just because I didn't want to take the psychic damage of the amount of shit that was popping up in these. But I'm guessing, like, again, I can't, the internet is too big and vast. I cannot pinpoint any one community that was like in here. It could have been the Quarterings people, could have been DGG, could have been any other quarter of the internet. But I think at a certain point, someone overlapped with the very far right, the Groypers, the blah blah blah, the Nick Fuentes or whatever crew, because it's at that point, and it's distinctly at that point when I know the far right has found something that I've done that they're mad about, because that's when you'll start to see racism. Like it just pops in there so fast at like such levels, like old-timey shit, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh whoa, this is yeah, okay, I know what corner of the internet we're in.
And delete the tweet. But come on, Jimmy, are you serious? You have multiple.
Oh, nice. I get an impression.
Come on, Jimmy, are you serious?
His impression is kind of like a less deep impression that I do of him. Like, when I do the quartering, I usually talk like this. We're doing each other right now.
Yes, you have multiple.
Oh god, that sounds disgusting.
Multiple channels, a clothing line, international fast food chain that's in my city. You're not in the business of losing money. That's not what he said. He said, MrBeast videos lose money. They are an investment. I've never bought any of his food. He's got his Feastables company where he sells candy, which would be interesting to get into. But he's got that where he makes a bunch of money doing that. He makes money selling merch. He makes money. But like the idea that he, you know, yes, he does make money, but he also puts a lot of money back into helping people. And the left is just looking really jealous, you know.
See, here's the thing. This would be very distinct if he was doing that and not doing it for episodes of his show, if it wasn't a TV show, if the purpose of the TV show wasn't, I now get to film you because you need this thing that I'm offering. Like, who in the right mind would turn down a surgery that will give you eyesight? I wouldn't. I would be in that MrBeast video. I would be in so many MrBeast videos. Absolutely, I would. Because, yeah, there's a lot of times in my life when $10,000 would have been life-saving, life-changing, when I, like, desperately would... Like, I would probably do that now, to be honest. $10,000 a day to be in his weird torture device, I would probably do that. I would probably take that thing. But I can still fundamentally disagree with people doing that. I'd say this as a content creator. I also make content. The idea of me making content exclusively by only parading around the very people with whom I bestow gifts, that's the part that really irks me, you know? Like, if MrBeast gave 1,000 people eyesight and did not make the episode about it, that would be a different story, right? It would be like MrBeast just granted 1,000 people eyesight to be able to give, start the conversation around this and begin discussing why it is that our healthcare system is so fragile and broken, or why this is even a necessity. Those would be very, very different things.
really, really bizarre in these like Twitter threads about MrBeast. I don't even understand. You could see a lot of the people, Hassan has been trending for the past couple of days. You see Carl Benjamin writing. Hassan is so close to realizing that he could be using his millions to help the disadvantaged too.
Oh, didn't Hassan have the fucking funniest clapback to this? I'll pull it up. Yeah, I was like, it's easy to find because Sargon blocked me. In 2022, I donated and raised almost $1 million to various charities and unions. You still try to do the Gamergate content as a 50-year-old man while your YouTube career withered away, similar to your political aspirations. I have no issue with MrBeast, no matter how hard these neck-bearded losers try and present it that way. I have an issue with an immoral system that pays healthcare. I do have an issue with MrBeast. If you weren't too desperate to claw a crumb of relevancy with a disingenuous hit tweet, perhaps you'd see that.
This guy makes $250,000 or more per month, at least by the latest estimates. I don't like wallet watching. I think it's one of the most like beta level things that
you all do it all the time. You won't shut the fuck up about it. Every single lefty or leftoid or fucking person who has money. Did you know Bernie Sanders has 3 houses? Seems like a lot of houses for a so-called socialist. Apparently, Hassan Piker lives in a mansion. Like, fucking, how many videos is there on that, Quartering? How many videos is there on Hassan and his various forms? You do, like, all you do is fucking coin counting when it comes to fucking lefties. Destiny was defending Sargon. Probably. Surprise.
Content creators
does not shock me at all.
Anybody worrying about another man's money is really weak. Let's say keep your eye on your own bobber. Something like that. Tim Pool saying, yeah, Hassan is 100% right. Stop funding
Total side note. Look who is appearing on Glenn Greenwald's show. Tonight, live at 7 p.m. We will spend the full hour talking with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, y'all. We'll cover a wide range of topics, her opposition in the U.S. role in Ukraine, her denunciations of the CIA and the FBI and big tech, and the GOP establishment, and much, much more. Hell yeah. Check this out.
Aro, can you tell me how much COVID cash went to CRT?
CRT?
Critical race theory in education. It's a racist curriculum used to teach children that somehow their white skin is not equal to black skin and other things in education.
Yeah. No, I do not know that, but I do know that there's provisions that the federal funds generally are not used, are supposed to be used for curriculum.
Oh,
that's a state.
Oh, Mr. Dodaro, I have to tell you, in Illinois, they received $5.1 billion at an elementary school there that used it for equity and diversity. So it's being used for these things. Mr. Dodaro, can you tell me how much COVID cash went to CRT?
CRT?
Critical race theory in education. It's a racist curriculum.
So fun, good times. This is certainly going to be fun, isn't it?
Things in Ukraine help make people's lives better. Carl Benjamin Hassan discovers charity. 2023 colorized. Leftism for you, right?
But see, here's the thing. I don't, when I critique all of these people, and a lot of them are grifters, absolutely. I mean, you can tell which ones are grifters based on the grifting that they do. But like, I'm not going to go and try to collect the receipts of the right-wingers to know whether or not, like, are the things that Carl Benjamin says transphobic and shitty? Are the things that Carl Benjamin says racist or homophobic? And whether or not Carl Benjamin donates to Gays Against Groomers, an anti-LGBTQ alliance foundation, volunteers time for them, or simply goes to Klan rallies in his spare time, like, I don't need to know that to critique his racist, transphobic, or homophobic takes. Like, the level to which I understand his validity as a person or a hypocrite doesn't really matter sometimes for the damage or him or other far-right or right-wing figures can do. But when they have these massive platforms, they are still amplifying their voices to a fuck ton of people. They're still spreading this messaging. So whether or not he's 100% a hypocrite or not is could be funny for the lulz to find out. Yeah, he's a grifting fucking hack. But on top of that, it doesn't suddenly remove his power or danger. Yeah, sorry.
Millionaire Hassan Khan is upset that MrBeast helped cure 1,000 people's blindness. I wonder what Hassan does with his money to help people.
I don't know if you covered it, but they voted Ilhan Omar off the Foreign Affairs Committee. What a surprise.
And like, I am not a big charity shamer, especially like, look, you know, I'll even.
Yes, you are. You got fucking roasted, dude, when you were like trying to go after Hassan's like podcast. He's got a podcast with Will Neff, and he was like, fucking blah blah blah. This so-called socialist needs a Patreon to be able to like get more money for a podcast, even though he makes $10,000 every fucking day on his show or whatever. And then it was like, so hey, I'm the guy who's producing the podcast. I co-own the podcast. We all do. All of us own 1/3 of the company, and that money is going towards me so that I can have a standard of living while making the podcast. Yeah, that's what that's for. And then everyone's like, oh shit. Well, that sounds like he's actually living by his principles.
Give some creators, you know, the benefit of the doubt. For example, you know, Hassan, you know, he's and he's accumulating to that. Ocasio-Cortez on his keep it up. Hope we have our Valentine millions in the bank. He's got.
Look, I'll say this. There's nothing wrong with criticizing creators. Normalize that. And I say this as a person who's a creator. And I say this as someone who's, yes, no, I'm not impervious to fucking having thousands of people tell me to, like, unalive myself. Like, yeah, no, the human mind was not designed to experience that on a repeated basis. So, yes, of course, everyone can have bad times on social media. It's all scalable. That's the thing with social media. It doesn't matter if it's 100 people doing that or just 10 because someone happened to quote tweet you. It's like it will have the same effects, right? You're going to be like, holy fuck, that's really intense. People have strangers who know nothing about you have a deep vitriolic hatred for you. But at the end of the day, if you have a massive platform, if you have 142,000 followers on social media, like I do, you have the ability to be able to put things out there on a much more magnified scale. So if I put something out there, like you should normalize having thousands of people telling you your take is shit and then trying to like either learn or take feedback or stuff like that in good faith. In the good faith ones, by the way. Like this all is a world of lies. It's a world of lies and deceit and garbage. And when corrected on the lies, the Quartering and his ilk don't change course. The Matt Walshes of the world, they won't take to facts. They don't care. It's all feelings. This whole fucking thing is about them and their confusions and fears and bigotry therein, you know? If Matt Walsh is given actual data, it's like, hey, by the way, on the Joe Rogan podcast, you were corrected in real time, manufacturing gross misinformation to such a degree that it should kind of put your worldview into question. Like that's the degree to which you are off on this and you are lying about it for profit. You don't change. It's not like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Okay, well, now that I know that, I'm going to delete the tweet. Yeah. See, they don't delete the tweet because it doesn't matter if they're wrong. It doesn't matter if they're lying. But what matters is that they're getting fucking people mad, engagement, and paychecks. Some of them want the anger more than the paychecks. Some of them just want the paychecks, right? It's a combination of two for a lot of people. But for them, yeah, that's the fucked up thing.
He's got tens of thousands of politically dim but willing to work fans. Why doesn't he do anything?
By the way, here's the call out I have for the Quartering, and Destiny has done this kind of thing too. So for both of them, if you hate socialism, if you hate people who advocate for socialism, if you hate people who advocate for lefty shit, if you hate lefties, leftoids, whatever you want to call it, whatever name you're going by, if you hate that, if you think it would be a net negative for the world, if the world was more progressive, left-leaning, socialist, or whatever that is, in regards to the ideology that you think Hassan Piker has, then isn't it a good thing if he, in your own eyes, sucks? Isn't it a good thing if he is taking time, energy, and money away from people who would otherwise be doing political activism to try and further his aims, goals, and aspirations in the world? Because, yeah, for me, it's kind of nice knowing that someone like Sargon of Akkad is no longer in politics, is no longer running for UKIP, is no longer, because that's knowing that that's one extra thing that he's dedicating, he's willing to put in ground time and ground work. So for me, I'm actually happy if I found out he's a grifter. Dave Rubin being a grifter is awesome because he spouts all of this fucking horrifying garbage all the time. Knowing that he's doing it for the money actually makes me a little bit happier because I know he's not actually enacting in real world all the things that he's saying in his show. I don't want that in the real world. I don't want them to be more politically effective. I don't want them to donate tons of their cash and money to causes that are on the far right. That to me would be really fucked up. I don't want any of that to happen. So I'm less concerned with the appeal to their hypocrisy, right? If they're hypocrites, that's better for me. If they're all fucking hypocrites, if they're all grifters, that's going to be slightly better because yes, it's still bad the things they say and it's still bad that they have this like magnification machine, but deep down, if the clock goes off and they don't actually care about upholding capitalism, they don't actually care about making things possible for the far right, objectifying and fucking subjugating women, marginalizing communities, none of that, it's just a fucking a payday for them, then that's fucking good. That's better for me because they're not doing more damage for what I want to see in the world. Yeah.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demo, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tal, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.